Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and it's Sunday, so I'm here with Scraplift Crafternoon, a hop started by Kimberly with I'd Rather Be Scrapbooking and Christine with Christine Harden Scrapbooking. And now me and Anna with Peace Craft Love have joined Christine as well as Tara, and Kimberly is taking some time off, but we'll be back later. And this is the layout that we chose. And it is by Pink Crafty Mama, which is Alex. And I hope I don't butcher this. Her last name, I think, is Trofimov, maybe. I'm not sure. But Pink Crafty Mama is where you will find her on Instagram and on YouTube. And she's scrapbooking a picture of coffee. I am scrapbooking a picture of my grandmother. And whenever I think of my grandmother, this is the paper pad I always go to. And I'm almost out of it. I have this massive stash of scraps in here. And I'd love to use a ton of them up. But really, I'm only going to get a couple, actually 3. But I'm okay with that. I am going to do some other layouts. Her favorite color is pink, and the layout, or these papers, are pink and green. So I brought these 4 different colors in to make all the little rays. And I've decided instead of spraying or using a stencil, I'm going to jerry rig a little thing to help me with the rays and use like a packaging technique to use those inks on this white paper. And my plan is to use that stripy paper. Her layout has a diagonal stripe and it's super cool, but I didn't have a diagonal stripe in this paper. So I thought the stripes would be good, but I end up changing. Spoiler alert. So I have my papers, my inks, this picture, and this awesome layout. So let's see how this goes. Okay, you all. This is a little crazy. I love the way this turns out. It is not as heavily stamped as hers is. But I love the way this turns out, even though I made a gigantic mess. Okay, so first I trace out my picture because I know it's going to be matted, so it'll be fine. So I take this piece of like cardstock, the back page from a paper pad, and I just cut it and have like this little V, and so I can make the ray that way. Now, I don't care that it's not going to be a perfect line because I know it'll bleed and it's going to move, and that's fine. I just didn't want it to be too cuckoo crazy, and I wanted it to have a little bit of a ray definition. Oh my gosh, you all, it took me only about 12 minutes, even cleaning up my mess, which I only cut out because I only did the first ray so you could see how I did it, and then start the second ray, and then I fast forward to the end. Or I cut out until the end because you didn't need to see 12 minutes of me doing this pretty much exact same thing, except I accidentally bumped one of them, or it got caught. I don't even know what happened. I should have looked before I deleted part of it, but one of my inks tilts over, makes a god-awful mess. Luckily, there was just one small little bit that got on my paper. The rest of it got all over my mat. And I picked up a lot of it, the majority of it, with a piece of blue paper that I will be able to use in the future with that ink splatter, smear, blob on it. So I didn't completely let it go to waste, but I do have a paper towel covered in this, I think it's the picked raspberry that I spilled. So, yeah, and you'll notice when I'm done with this, maybe you'll notice, I don't know how close up my hands get, my fingers are totally pink. So, it's fine. So the colors that I used, the very first one is the picked raspberry. And then the green I use is Twisted Citron. Y'all are going to think that's the only green I have. I swear I have other ones, but I felt like this shiny one was going to go better. Or this, limey one is going to go better than the other 2 I have are Mowed Lawn and Peeled Pink. So then the next color I use is Abandoned Coral. And then the very last one is the Delusion Shimmer Spray in Bubblegum Pink. The other 3 are all Distress Oxides by Tim Holtz. So look at how that looks now. I told you it's not a perfect straight line because, sorry, my nose is running, you all. My allergies are like on full attack. It's not a straight, perfect line because it does, it's not solid, and I wasn't spraying, as well as some of that will leak underneath that cardboard because it's just a little piece of cardboard. So, but I'm okay with it. I really, really do love the way it looks. If I was, feeling like really trying to scrap lift what she did, I could have cut something out on my Cricut to make like a stencil, but first of all, my Cricut is covered. I am moving, and right now I'm trying to pack my house up so that they can stage the house for the sale, and it is crazy. It's the end of the school year, and yeah, crazy town around here. So I am going to finish off this last one, and then I'm going to pull this off, and you'll see the finished layout. I hope you all think it's as cool as I do. I really love the way it turned out. I was getting a little worried, but when I pulled this off, I really love it. And now that it's finished, I love it even more. So there it is. See the little mess up at the very top? That is from where the picked raspberry decided it didn't like me. So there you can see I am not happy with the way that looks. Mostly because that bright bubblegum pink shiny doesn't look right where it matches up with the pink. So I decided to use this black because the majority of what it's going to touch on the edges is either green or the black. There's a little bit of pink, but it is not as predominant as that green stripe with the pink. So I get that matted, and I do love the way that turned out. That black draws that bright white color in. So I start going through my scraps, and I don't have big scraps. They're all little bitties, and so I'm going to be very creative and frugal, and I'm going to use these papers that aren't completely full. Like this one is got a big flower cut out of the back. The pink one that I end up pulling has some circles cut out of the back. I mean, it's kind of like a little bit of hodgepodgey whatever. And I'm all good with that because, you know what, if you've watched any of my videos this year, my rule is at least one scrap on every layout. And there are 3 layers of matted picture, or the picture has 3 matte layers. All 3 of those were scraps. And then I use a couple little pieces of scrap to cover up the boo-boo at the top and make like a little tag or banner hanging down or something. And that is not in her sketch, but I kind of had to do something to cover up this random blob. Had it been like a ½ an inch over, it would have just blended in with the ray, but no, it didn't work that way, and that's fine. There's almost always a way to fix a boo-boo or a mistake or whatever. So I have matted this in pink, and then I matted it in green, and then I matted it in this white like dotted line. And the green is like a glitter paper, so I have to use the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive for that because that double-sided tape just doesn't hold it very well. The tear and tape, that'll hold it, but it definitely is better with the Nuvo Deluxe. Now, because that paper the back mat is white, it's not going to stand out except for where it meets the ray. And so I ink it just around the outside, straight with the ink pad, and it's black soot, and just to give it a smidge of definition, and it helps just to pull it off the page. Not that you're not drawn to looking at this hysterical picture. And I didn't really explain earlier, but the reason this picture is so fantastically fabulous is because this is my grandma. She moved to Texas in 2017, and we live in Kentucky. And we had gone to see her a couple of times, and my sister was going to go see her one summer, and I told her I couldn't come, and then my boss said I could take off. So we didn't tell her, and so when my sister got there and I came around the corner, this is the face she made. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see it in the up-close pictures, but this is one of my favorite pictures because she was so surprised. And the live video, or the live, picture, she says, "Christy," So anyway, she's been gone for 2 years, and so this picture just makes me smile because I got to surprise her. I even called her while I was in the car on the way there. Didn't tell her. So, but anyway, so I got out these stamps, and they are actually close to my heart stamps. I got them off of Facebook Marketplace. I don't know how old they are. I don't know if they're good anymore, but I mean, they stamped, and I feel like they look fabulous. I pulled like this one that says I love you. It's like in a conversation heart. One says the words I love you. One says together. One says love. And then there's like some heart, or not hearts, but flowers. And I just kind of put things around, and I'm using spun sugar, which is a distress oxide, and hickory smoke for the majority of them. But I also pull out my distress oxide black soot, and sorry, I just took the lid off of it, and use that for a little bit of a darker color because the pink is super light. And so I didn't really want to add any other colors because I've already got the green and the pink and these other shades of pink, like the bright pink. And now I'm bringing in the gray and this blacky, sooty gray. And so I thought, I didn't really want to bring in any of the other ink pads that I have that are at least in the distress oxides because they were significantly different in color. I almost brought in purple, almost, when I get to some of my embellishments, and changed my mind because I had not done it yet. So I decided that I would not, and leave it just with the pink and green with the black accents and the gray. So this is where I am fixing the boo-boo. I just cut this little green polka dot, which is the same paper that is matting one of the picture. And then the other one is just a little heart paper that came with this collection as well, and I thought it was fitting. And that hot pink in the middle is very similar to that bubblegum pink Delusion spray. Plus it's got some shiny to it, so that adds to it. So I pulled this dollar store embellishment off. It says Love, Believe, Dream. It's got this really cute heart on it. And then I considered pulling one of these other ones off that has but it had purple on it, and then that word love. But love was too big and wasn't going to fit anywhere unless I covered up where I stamped together. So I just put that aside. And then I found this, and it's a chalkboard one, and I start putting it behind all the matting, and then decide it's going to look better if I tuck it in behind the pink mat, but in front of the green and white mat. And Love You More is something my grandma always said to me, and I'm going to turn my wrist around because I have a tattoo on my wrist, and it is in my grandmother's handwriting saying Love You More. It's from the very last letter she ever wrote me, and so I had my brother-in-law put it on my wrist just as a constant reminder. I'm sure my grandmother would totally love that I got a tattoo with her handwriting. Oh, geez. But anyway, I pull out these Stickability stickers. I love these. I just found these the other day at Hobby Lobby. And they have like little words, and there were hearts and stars and these little flowers. So I just pulled the 3 flowers, put them where the ink is so that it looks like the flower is the color of whatever is behind it. So I thought that was super cute. And then I think I'm adding... I don't know. I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, so I'm adding some word phrases from Tim Holtz. I pulled 3 out. One that says, so the word that's stamped above it says together. So officially, I guess I could title this Together in My Heart, because that's what the very first little phrase says. And then one says, Let Life Surprise You, which I thought was perfect. And then one just says XO, 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 which is how she signed all of her cards. But I think I'm just going to end up titling this Love You More because it's just super fitting. And so then I get these Paper Studios gemstones out, and these are some pastels my friend Sarah sent me back a couple months ago. And I'm still working on using them. There's a ton of them. So I just put those, scatter them, like her embellishments and stamps kind of make a diagonal from the top left to the bottom right. And mine do too, for the most part. I do add these enamel accents by Tim Holtz, or by Ranger, in black tie. And I don't have as much as her. I mean, look at all the stamping and embellishment she's got. But I just felt like I was done, and I was really happy with the flowers and the hearts and the inking. So I love her layout. It is super cool, but I felt like I was done with what I wanted to put on here. So here it is up close. Like I said, there's the little banner covering up my boo-boo. You can see the stamps and all the inking. There's that dollar store sticker. And then you'll get the up-close picture of her face. Oh, God, it's precious. Anyway, okay, so I hope you all go below and follow all the awesome people. Anna with Peacecraft Love, Christine Harden, and Tara. All of them are hopping along. Their links or their direct link to their video will be below. Please go watch their videos. They are super talented, and I love watching how we all take the same layout and completely do things different. So hope you all will follow along, and I hope to see you all later on. Love the ones you love, and happy scrapping.